One and welcome to the stream. My name is Lee. Um, Today is we're back to Cyberpunk today. So for those of you who don't know, I agreed to run a Cyberpunk game, having only played it once and being some familiar with the setting. Um, let's see. Let's see. Going live now. Yes, at everyone. Yep. So we've been come join me. Okay. It is hot out. Yep. All right, we are doing the thing. So, Mel, come on in. There's tasty treat. Um, tidbit of cheese. Mm. Oh, for fuck's. All right, all right. There you go. Peek behind the curtain. If you open a second window of Firefox, you can then display a web page. When you do, what's the one? Background. There's a way to put in web pages, but it's not like legit. Kinda. It's. It doesn't have let you do the same live interactive way that this bit does. There are some applications that work well with that, some do not, and this one is one that does not. Okay, Cyberpunk Red. So we are going through the let's see, cyberware, cyber psychosis, um, outfit, weapons and armor. Okay, we're on 71. Um, Beat charts, getting better, box guns, the counters in the red. Okay, so this is all the lore stuff. Um, let's start with yeah. So 71 is the. Look at some of these guys. Combat groups. We got the armor. I think we pretty much got most of what we had. I'm trying to see. Remember, you know, we did skills. Used weapons. Um, how to read the exotic weapon table. Um, 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 so yeah, this is all your bags and pocket stuff. Hang on, let me go and do the thing, because if I don't do the thing, it's gonna bug everyone who comes on. Yes, okay. Alright, outfit. Fashion, here we go. This is all the useful majiggy whatsits you can carry. Marines and pocket knives and scramblers and road flares, just in case. Um, Culture, class, and couture are all different things, Shumba. We've included this table to explain something of clothing options you will see described for street rats and edge runners. Okay, so bag lady chick, homeless or ragged or vagrant. So you pop got hats, you got gang colors, dangerous. So you're paying a little bit more for your clothes to look a little better. Generic cheek, standard, colorful, modular, basics. Pretty much the same as gang colors. You same pricing point as gang colors. You just look normal. Bohemian, folksy, retro, free spirited, and you're paying similar. Oh yeah, you spend more on your shoes and your jewelry, and micro shades. Yeah, you're spending more on your a little bit more on everything. Yeah, contact lenses. Yes. All right. So leisure wear, comfort, agility, athleticism. So you're spending a good amount on your bottoms, nice pants, jacket. You're up in your jacket game. Your shoes, jewelry. Okay, 50. So I guess it's yeah. You're spending more for contacts, for fancy contacts, and for hat, like a decent hat. And you got nomad leathers, which are also more. Ooh, footwear, better good work boots though I will say are freaking expensive. Um, Jewels. Oh no, that's for interesting micro shades, and then you got your contacts and hats. Oh no, premium. You have a nice hat if you're nomad list. Well, you gotta have a helmet, I would imagine. Let's see. Alright. That's gonna start. We got Asia Pop. This is just more and more expensive as they go down, I believe. Yeah, you're spending more on different things, but essentially you're just high fashion, business wear, you're shelling out good money, but yeah, so you're basically just going up in price point the farther in the list you get. Okay. Um, how to get your outfit and gear. Yeah, Edge Runner and Street Rat version, and then the whole character you can just get whatever. So yeah, you with the Street Rat and Edge Runner, however, when you move to night market section of the rules, you'll have the option to buy more gear as your character progresses. To find out what gear your character comes equipped with, check the list on the table below and look under your character's role. Note that you may occasionally be given a choice between two or more options. Pick one and only one when offered an option. Yeah. So you get Agent, Cyberdex, Urban Flash, Jacket, Leisure Wear, Footwear. Oh, I see. So you get. Oh. So you get different mix and match clothing. Tech outfit. Interesting. Alright. Nomad Media. Yeah. Alright. And then if you want cyberware, there's probably a whole section on cyberware. Um, um, oh yeah, so you get an extra 180 Eurobucks to get clothes. And you have to spend $1 or lose it. Use it or lose it. Okay. Give me a sec. I could go. I'm gonna get up. Boom! I actually managed back. I actually managed to be back before the ad breaks up. Cause I'm cool like that. And I got a popsicle. Well, ice cream bar. Bang. I think it's actual ice cream. Alright. That's some local alternative, but it tastes good. I just kind of picked it. Okay. So, not clothing. Okay. So if you're a complete package character and you're on manually, you can, snag what you want. Okay. Character generation. If you aren't an exec, you'll start off living in a rented cargo container, either in the overcrowded suburbs of the city or in a combat zone, living, not so luxurious kibble lifestyle. Yeah, you owe 110 Eurobucks on the first next month, or you're getting evicted on the second. On the other hand, if you are an exec, you're gonna start off living rent free in a corporate con app in the corporate zone, and living comfortable, good peak lifestyle, which is already paid for this month. See 377 for more information about your living situation and what it entails. You don't have to pay rent because you're better than other people, but maintaining your good pre-pack lifestyle runs you about 600 Eurobucks on the first of every month. You might have an additional housing option due to their motor rollability. So you want to crash in the back of your car. Cargo container with a kibble lifestyle, he gets free for 1 month. After that, he'll have to pay rent or get kicked out. We'll move to a better or worse place depending on finances. Or mind another worth month of lifestyle or starve. So, the DM in this one, yeah, is you have to pay rent. That's part of the game, which, if you're having a long running campaign, for one shot, I don't think it matters too much, but if you have a campaign going, you have to pay rent, which makes sense. Last step is creating your characters getting some cyberware. It's everywhere at the time of the raid, and everybody uses it differently. or where you pick your poison and stick down the Ripper Doc. This is exactly what you're getting yourself into. This is interesting. Ooh, kiwi kibble. Um. Um. Got amino acids and fiber and now it comes in kiwi flavor. Putting the cyber into cyberpunk. You can be good or you can be dead. But the more you can add, the more you can bring that meat you were born with up to the next level, the better you can be. That means less of a chance of ending up in the dead side of that equation. Alright. Let's begin by straightening out one thing. It's cyberware. Not cyberware. Cyberware is stuff you can remove. You're just wearing it, Chumba. You're a tourist. You're not get committed to the edge. So ware is an W-A-R-E as opposed to W-E-A-R. Cyberware is the various types of hardware you can actually have implanted in or replacing parts of your body. It's stuff you live with. You can see it as part of your body in a way your favorite jacket never will be. It's like your heart, your hands, your gonads. When you get it installed, you're making a major commitment. You're replacing or enhancing something you were born with. That's staying on the edge. Got it? Okay then. First, forget everything you ever thought about cyborgs. Everything. This is the dark future, the time of the red. Even if the supply lines are down, the stores have been looted, and you have to buy it on the night markets, today's cyborg is still committed to being stylish. The cybernetic design focuses on a streamlined, high mover lifestyle. Whether equipped with implanted memory chips in your nervous system to enhance the street fight or bioengineered mini weapons for your personal protection, cyborg of the time of the red is always on the cutting edge of high-tech living. Style over function. But they aren't necessarily a walking tank either. Cyberware should be smoother than that, less obvious. You'll have to integrate your new tech gadgets into a slick, seamless whole. You're the predator or prey in the city, and the faster you learn to blur the lines between the two categories, the longer you survive. And that's the point. Survival. It's hip and aware to have high-tech grafted into your body somewhere. If you can afford it, you'll probably have at least a couple of enhancements, a few chips installed in your nervous system to interface with your computer, remember your appointments, improve your cyberball reflexes. If you're cybered up, you probably have interface plugs to operate computers and vehicles mentally. MBRs are cyber optics with a recording function in the latest iris tint. Polychrome is in this year. Or you boosted your hearing to better hear the gossip in the executive lounge. Though this type of cyberware is rarer in the time of the red. If your job involves some kind of security or combat function, and most occupations in this time have at least some type of combat aspect, you probably have 2 or 3 types of combat chipware, as well as plugs for a smart gun. As a solo, you may have had an arm or leg replaced with a cyber limb, allowing you to hide away a variety of tools and weapons in your body, as well as giving you an edge in speed and strength. And even if your job technically doesn't involve violence, it's safe bet that you're not going to be wandering the street without some kind of nastiness implanted in your body. Better cyber than sorry is what the street says about that. As a cyberpunk, you're going to want to get your hands on the best, this exciting and expensive tech. And expensive is the word. The average enhanced character would say 2 cyber eyes, targeting scope and IR enhancement, Pedware and 1 super chrome arm with a 25 cal submachine gun, interface plugs and chipware for brawling, driving, and first aid is an investment of thousands of Eurobucks. If you can find all that hardware. There was a war, Chumba, and some of the best stuff's been hoarded or just plain torn apart in the corporate battlefields of the urban zones. Of course, the ambitious punk already knows at least 25 ways, most of them illegal, to raise that sort of paltry sum. They have the connections to get them in the night markets. But before you start loading up, there's a catch. Cyberpsychosis. Cyberpsychosis is a dissociative disorder which occurs when someone with pre-existing psychopathic tendencies enhances themselves via cybernetics to the point they no longer see themselves or others as complete sapient organisms, but simply as a collection of replaceable parts. Common symptoms of cyberpsychosis include lack of self-preservation, complete disregard for others, poor impulse control, explosive outbursts. Let's get this clear from the start. If you already have these underlying psychological issues, in-game represented by very low empathy, you are more likely to candidate for cyberpsychosis. Selling cyberware isn't the only way to edge toward this mental explosion. Strong and or horrific events and situations can also wear down your humanity, and unfortunately edge runners deal with these sort of situations on a regular basis. This is something your GM controls. They often times may attach a humanity cost or an event on an event or situation, like when you stumble across a pack of scavengers eating a baby. Humanity lost at least 6 points right there. Practicing safe cyber. On the other hand, not all cyberware and augmentation contribute to cyberpsychosis. Sometimes there are people who lose parts of themselves or are born without parts have the option to buy medical grade cyberware, which functions only as a replacement and has no humanity cost. Medical implants are treated the same as long as they have therapeutic use. Similarly, people undergoing gender affirmation surgery or other forms of therapeutic body modifications choose to use the body sculpting, which has no humanity cost. There you go. You can switch genders without having to worry about cyber psychosis. That's nice. Mostly it's just this stuff. Or it isn't even cyberware. It's just magic potion, but you know. Only cyberware used to replace perfectly functional body parts or enhance the body beyond its human baseline can push someone towards cyberpsychosis. Even then, there are some therapeutic options available. The cyberpsychosis has always been a big problem in the dark future. All state-sponsored therapy is an option. The hardest part is getting the patient into the psychologist's office. What do you do when when a metal-armored cyber-boosted maniac starts randomly killing people? If you're the government, you organize a special squad of professional police with one job: hunt down and capture or kill monstrous cyber psychos. If there isn't much government left, the locals will probably start their own psycho squad militia and go after the borged up built. But anyway, even without a warrant. Psycho squads are common in most urban or corporate police departments. I'm going to name names like C-SWAT, Cybernetics Special Weapons and Tactical Squad, PsychDiv, CYB Enforcement, and MaxTac, Maximum Force Tactical Division. Armed with the best armor, comm equipment, and vehicles, most carry weapons that start at a light cannon range and go up from there. They are, by nature, not very nice people. Now you know, walk carefully, guard your mind. Cyber technology or street cyberware. Cyber technology can be purchased almost anywhere. Some of the medical procedures are simple. Walk-in type surgeries with minor installations taking place in whatever shopping mall, clinics, Body Shape, Fashion Fusion, and parts and programs are 3 popular chain stores still exist, or drop-in medical surgeries, Drox or Us. These installations are much like getting your ears pierced. You can even have upgrades and improvements plugged in to the old hardware for the cost of the new parts, allowing you to start small, called stripped or economy, and add as you go. You can't install cyberware if you're suffering a critical injury related to it. So yeah, if you screw up your thing, you can't get new stuff installed until you fix what's there. 8 types of cyberware. Fashionware is for personal adornment. Neuroware, stuff you install to enhance or augment your reflexes or mental abilities. Cyber optics, stuff to use to improve individual abilities. I would guess that if you had poor vision anyway and it was something like these but built in, you wouldn't necessarily count toward the cyber psychosis. Because it has to be beyond human limits, so basic better vision if you're less than 20/20 already is probably safe. Cyber audio, stuff to install to improve your hearing or auditory abilities. Same with something like cochlear implants, I would imagine. Internal body cyberware, stuff that's implanted in your body and works like organs, or systemic improvement. 114 for the list. External body cyberware, stuff that is installed in, on, or over immediately through the skin. See page 114 for the list. Cyber limbs, cybernetic arms and legs that can be enhanced with a variety of hands, coverings, or functions. 115. Borgware, stuff which fully replaces the majority of your body with cybernetic parts that are augmented by cyber optics, audio, prosthesis, and other cyberware installations. If you want to go all in, that's a recipe for cyber psychosis, but okay. All cyberware is defined by 5 factors: name, install, data, cost, and humanity loss. Popular street name. Install. When you get where you can get it put in. Installation surgery is always included at no charge, including at character generation. So if you buy the cyberware, you can the doctor will install it for you. Assuming they own the clinic, otherwise you might have to pay extra. Mall means you can literally get the installations done in any mall or street corner biomod shop, the equivalent of ear piercing in the 1900s. These are not as many of these as there were in the 2020s. Clinic means an actual medtech in a surgical clinic. Most of the installation is automated, but it takes skilled practitioners to use that gear. Most reproducts are on this level. Hospital means the work requires major surgery and a meditech capable of doing this kind of work. This also requires a full hospital or nearest equivalent, which is relatively rare. Let's see. Descriptions of data. A description of the cyberware, its game mechanics, its prerequisites, and what is known about it on the street. Benefits from multiple installations of the same cyberware do not stack unless otherwise noted. For more information about the item, go to 358. Option slot. Most classifications of cyberware have foundational piece of cyberware that's a prerequisite for installing other cyberware of this type. As cyberware has a number of option slots that can be filled with other cyberware. Unless otherwise marked, most cyberware options require one slot in the foundational cyberware or of that category. If a type of cyberware requires a foundational piece, it will be listed first with its option slots. In the case of fashionware, internal cyberware, and external cyberware, there is no foundational cyberware, but you can still only implant 7 option slots worth of cyberware. What the cyberware costs in main currency in Night City, the Eurobuck. The price category of the item is listed below, and 385 buying and selling. The exact price may vary, but just generally ballpark what you're going to pay. Humanity loss. How badly installations will affect your psyche. At character generation, humanity loss is preset. After character generation, humanity loss is determined by the dice in the parentheses following the preset number. So, so it's a standard. You take like average at character creation, and if you get stuff installed in game, you have to roll for it. Okay. So you got a biomonitor. Let's see. I'm gonna pop this up a little bit so we can see better. All right. Let me see if we can't do this. Can you see the whole thing? Bleh. Oh, I see. There we go. Well, lets you guys see the whole thing and me see the whole thing. Well, oh, I see. Alright, I did that to get the margins. Okay. Alright. So we got... Oh, wait, I can see what we got. Let's see. Biomonitor is a subdermal. It's just under the skin. Implant, which generates a readout of vitals, can link to the agent. Basic biomonitoring. Chemskin. Dyes and pigments infused into the skin permanently to change its hue. +2 to personal grooming, also if user also has a tech hair. So it's something like a tattoo. EMP threading. Thin silver lines that run circuit-like patterns across the body. It's pretty cheap. Chemskin's a little more expensive, so you're getting... Light tattoo. Subdermal patches store light and project colored tattoos under the skin. +2 to wardrobe and style if user has 3 or more tattoos. They're premium. Ooh, but these are light up tattoos. 100 Eurobucks. Alright. Install this model. These are just basic, cool things you can get. Shift tacts. Color changing lenses implanted into the eye. Also no humanity loss. Skin watch. Sudden subdermally implanted LED watch. Keeps time. 100 Eurobucks. Tech hair. Color light. Light emitting artificial hair. +2 to personal grooming if also has chem skin. Pick a hairstyle and color for me. Reference Michiko Sanderson, and Maz Despair for ideas and cross-reference them against what's popular according to the Night City Pulse. Send the specs directly into my tech hair while I'm in the shower. Nightingale to her agent. Okay. Alright, so you got a Neuralink. Wired artificial nervous system required to use NeuroWear and subdermal grip. 5 option slots. It's expensive and has a humanity loss of 2d6 or just 7. Brain dance recorder. Records user's experience to memory chip or external device. Requires a Neuralink, so it's an option slot on that one. Chipware socket. A single socket installed in the back of the neck required to use chipware. Also, 7 humanity loss. So it's you pay 7. You get 7 humanity loss for the Neuralink, and then 70 for each attachment you put in. Interface plugs. Plugs in a wrist or head that allow connection to machines. Requires a Neuralink. Kerenzikov. Speedwear. Adds +2 to initiative. Only one piece of speedwear can be installed at a time. Requires a Neuralink. Sandavistan. Speedwear. When activated, adds as an action adds +3 to initiative. Used for 1 minute. Has a 1 hour cooldown period, only one piece. Okay, so it's about the same price, and you add a higher initiative bonus, but you can only use it. It only works the minute, and then you have a cooldown. Chemical analyzer requires chipware socket. So chipware socket. It doesn't say how many option slots the chipware socket has, which you have to put. The memory chip. Data storage, user cyberware can store or access data on it. So if you have a chip where you can pop a socket, you can put a memory chip in there. Oh, that okay. So Camelot, these are popped into the chipware socket and they pull in and out. That's why there's no install. Okay. Memory chip, factory boost, chipware can use tracking skills to track via scent. Pain editor, chipware uses ignore penalties due to being seriously wounded, so it's like a plug-in painkiller. Let's see, what do you got? Skill chip. Chipware, user has specific skill at level 3 unless skill is already 3+. Skill chips for ×2 skills cost more, requires chipware socket. It's expensive or very expensive depending on the skill. So if you don't have a skill, you can pop a... Probably you can only get one chipware... chip... Neuralink. Chipware slot. Chipware socket. I think you can only have... It doesn't say how many chips you can have in at the same time. My guess is it's a limited number. Probably just one at a time, I'm guessing. Tactical boost. Can detect motion within 20 yards of placing hand on surface. That's the chipware, and it's 7. Paint editor is 14. Olfactory boost is 7. Memory chip surge is 0. And chemical analyzer is only 3. Speed boost is okay. 14 for the Kerenzikov. But that's... Yeah, that's the 2. So, that's a Neuralink. So this one, it gives you more humanity loss as well. 4d6 versus 2d6. And you're... Yeah. Okay. Cyber optics, foundational cyber is the cyber eye. So you got your eyes. Each cyber eye, so 7 humanity lost, has 3 option slots. Same options must be paired. Purchased twice and installed 2 different cyber eyes on a user. Humanity loss must be... some options must be paired. Some you can do in one eye. Sometimes you have to do both eyes. If you have to do both eyes, you have to pay separate for each eye. Alright. Artificial eye. So if you... Oh, yeah. I'm guessing that cyber eyes have to be installed in pairs as well. Or rather, if you install a pair, you have to pay for both. Rather than just pay it once and... Okay. Okay. Sorry, I'm trying to figure out how to keep an eye on chat. And also on the... Put it up this one. Okay. There we go. That, I can't see me, but I can see the chat, and I can see the ad timer. So I think that's alright. I just gotta try to... I can't see if I'm staying in frame or not, but that's alright. So you got... So, Anti-Dazzle. Requires 2 sidebars and must be paired. It's 1d6, half of 1d6 rounded up. For the anti-dazzles, which means you have to install 2 cyber eyes, which is already 4d6 humanity loss, because you gotta have 2. Each cyber rod has 3 option slots, so I guess if you pair... anti-dazzle probably uses 1 option slot on both, but if you can do any of the others on one eye. Dark gun, takes 3 option slots, so you can't have that and the anti-dazzle because you only get 3 per cyber eye. So if you do 1 dark gun, you can't do anti-dazzle because it's... okay. Image enhance. It's plus to perception, lip reading, and conceal reveal object. Requires 2 cyber eyes and must be paired. Okay. Let's see. So you get low light, infrared, and UV. Requires 2 cyber eyes and must be paired, and 2 option slots per cyber eye. Dang, okay. Mirror optics provides user with 400 magnification, requires a cyber eye. Okay. It takes 2 ops, so micro video, camera in the eye, records audio and video memory chip or linked to agent, requires a cyber eye, and takes 2 option slots. So you couldn't have that and low light UV, because that must be paired. And it takes 2 option slots per each, so you'd only have 1 option slot to pop for that. So you can't have that and the video recording, unless you get, like, a upgrade variant of the cyber eye, but that probably has, I don't know, double the humanity cost or whatever. Radiation detector. Well, you can get a radiation detector built in. Targeting scope. Yeah, it's +1 in check while making an armed shot. Aimed shot, so just extra scoping in the eye. Teleoptics can see detail up to... Wow. +1 aimed shots against target, 51 meters or yards away or further away. Requires a cyber eye. Since it's expensive, the 400 times magnification, it's more expensive than that because it gives you a bit of distance. And gets you more memory, humanity loss too. Projects cyberspace imagery over user's view of the world. Requires 2 cyber eyes and must be paired. Okay, yeah, because you have to, yes. So you could have low light and virtuality if you wanted, and then you're just all, Cyber Audio Suite has 3 option slots and gets, and you can't install more than 1. So basically, you just, it's the pair. Yeah, I guess if you put 1 in each ear, you can only have 1. They're linked. So 3 option slots. Basic amplification, or Cyber Audio Suite. Humanity lost 3. Okay. Audio recorder records audio to memory chip or linked agent. Requires a Cyber Audio Suite. Bug detector beeps when within 2 meters of a listening device. Requires Cyber Audio Suite. Homing tracer can follow a linked tracer up to 1 mile away. Fully functional agent installed internally can be linked to a cyber eye with Chiron display, otherwise audio only. Requires a cyber audio suite. So basically it lets you have a built-in phone. And if you want like visual displays, you have to get the cyber eye as well, and then you have to link them both. Radio communicator. It's less humanity loss than an internal agent, and communicate via radio, 1 mile range. It's just as expensive as an internal agent, but slightly less humanity loss. So, radio scanner music player can play music from data pool or memory chip, or tune into radio broadcast within 1 mile. It's only €50 and half a D6 worth of. It's costly but not expensive. Or premium. Radar detector. Beeps if there's active radar beam. Scramble or descramble allows user to scramble outgoing communications and descramble incoming communications. And then voice stress analyzer. +2 perception and interrogation checks, and so that lets you like hyperanalyze. Okay, it's AI. Okay, radar assisted. And then, okay, and then you got internal cyberware. 7 slot options available. You get a voice synthesizer. And play instruments when singing. Built-in autotune. Contraceptive implant prevents undesired pregnancy and it's cheap, and it's cheap mal-installation and no humanity loss. So it's like an IUD except fancier. Enhance antibodies after stabilization. Heal body ×2 for each day spent resting. It's expensive and causes, yeah. So you can get contraceptives, no problem. Cybersnake. Esophagus-mounted very heavy weapon. Can be concealed. Esophagus-mounted. Oh, that requires hospital level. You got to go somewhere. Gills. You can get gills. Also requires hospital level. Grafted and muscle and bone lace. Increases body ×2. The increase changes HP, wound threshold, and death save. Cannot raise body above 10. increased by 2. 8 is the most you can start with, so you take one of these and you pop it up to 10. Independent air supply provides 30 minutes of oxygen, takes 1 hour to refill from ambient atmosphere. So that's just half an hour extra air if you ever get trapped somewhere. That's half an hour extra breathing if you ever find yourself in a situation where air is hard to come by. You got half an hour extra. And then once you're out, it takes an hour to refill. It's pretty good, actually. I mean, it depends on whether you're getting trapped in places. Midnight Lady sexual implants. Be Venus, be Fire, be Desire. Clinic level. 7 humanity loss and premium. Mr. Stud sexual implant. All night, every night, and they'll never know. Alright, so yeah, if you want to get the best of the best and make you, like, good at sex, you have to do these. Okay. Nasal filters. Yeah, and then body sculpt is if you want to... This is the fancy stuff. If you want regular old body sculpt for just to swap around your genitals, you can do that. If you want actually fancy, be super sexy and awesome ones, you have to pay up and take the... I bet it's still premium if you want to do the body sculpt, though. And these are filters. I like that if they included these, they had a variant wherein you can get a swap without having to pay the humanity cost for trans people, because that's a nice little bone, I think. Right. Nasal filters. Users immune to effects of toxic gases, fumes, and similar dangers. Ooh. And it's clinic level. You can just get them done. Ripper Doc. It's only like premium. It's not even like expensive. And only is half a d6 humanity loss. Rados sonar implant. Scans terrain within 50 yards. Cannot scan through cover. It's real expensive because, yeah. Pretty cool though. And it's 1d6. Or 2d6. Let's see. Toxic binders. Adds +2 to resist torture drugs. It's not bad premium, and it's only half a d6 humanity lost. Vampires. Excellent quality light melee weapon implanted in the mouth. Can be concealed. User can add poison or biotoxin. So you can get fangs put in. They're expensive, and there's 4d6 humanity lost, but dang. Alright. Hidden holster. Can store weapons capable of concealment inside the body. So, like, basically, you're putting in your own hammer space for a small gun. It's clinic level. Okay, skin weave, that's hospital level. User's body and head armored at 7 stopping power. Does not stack with worn armor. Ablates recovers 1 point per day of rest. Stopping point per day of rest. It does go down, but you get it back with the resting. Subdermal armor is hospital level. User's body and head armored at 11 SP. Does not stack with worn armor. That's 4d6 worth of humanity loss, though. And it's very expensive. Which makes sense. Subdermal pocket. 2x4, 5 times by 10 centimeters. Storage space just under the skin with real skin zipper. So you can just have built-in pockets. That's pretty cool. Let's see. Cyber arm and a standard hand. So a standard hand can be installed in a meat arm. Okay, replacement arm has 4 option slots. Comes installed with a standard hand that doesn't cause human loss or take up an option slot. So if you have a cyber arm, you can get a hand. The hand would give you a little humanity lost, and you can just get the hand. If you get the arm, the hand comes on the end standard, and you don't have to have extra humanity loss, and is folded into the cost. So armored knuckles, medium melee weapon, can be concealed. Can be installed as only piece of cyber in a meat arm. Cyber deck, installed in a cyber arm, requires a cyber arm to take up 3 option slots. You only get 4. Grapple hand, fires hand along with grapple line. Cannot be used as a weapon. That's pretty cool, though. Let's see. You got the med scanner installed in the cyber arm. Takes 2 option slots. It's 50-50. Helps diagnose illicit injury, +2 to first aid and paramedic. Pop-up grenade launcher. Single-shot grenade launcher installed in the sidearm. Weapon can be concealed, so you can have a concealed. Takes two two option slots. But if you have a med scanner and a pop-up grenade launcher, that's let's see. Pop-up melee weapon. Any light, medium, or heavy melee weapon installed in the sidearm can be concealed, even if not normally concealable, but requires a sidearm. Takes two option slots. It's expensive too, but you know. Pop-up shield. A bulletproof shield in the sidearm can be concealed and replaced when at 0 HP. Requires a sidearm. It takes 3 option slots. Oh, dang, alright. Pop-up ranged weapon. Any one-hand ranged weapon installed in the sidearm can be concealed even if normally concealable. So it's 2 option slots. So you can get a grenade launcher, pop-up melee weapon, pop-up ranged weapon. You get to pick 2 of them. Quick change mount. Allows users to remove or install a sidearm as an action. So basically you can get a socket joint and you can have 2 arms and swap between them. And then you would be able to have different option slots in each arm, and then swap them. So you might have a med scanner and a grapple hand in one arm, and then 2 weapons in another, and you can switch between your, out of combat arm and your combat arm. You can carry around the weapons arm in another pouch or something in case you need trouble. Something like that. Rippers can be installed as only piece of cyber in a meat arm. Carboglass claws, medium melee damage, can be concealed. It's D6 humanity loss. If you do that and the fangs, you can be awesome. So, okay, only cyber piece in a cyber meat arm. So you can have knuckles or rippers, but you can't have both. Scratchers, carboglass fingernails, light melee weapon, can be concealed. They're less expensive and have less humanity loss, and presumably look superior too. Shoulder cam. Video camera mounted in the shoulder, can be concealed, requires a sidearm, takes 2 option slots. So if you can't get one put in your eye, you can get one put in your arm. Slice and dice. Monofilament whip implanted in the thumb. Medium melee weapon, can be concealed, can be installed as the only piece of cyberware in a meat arm. So basically there are certain things like, if you don't have a cyberarm, you can get 1 enhancement put into your meat arm. Let's see. Requires a Neuralink. Subdermal grip can be installed as only piece of cyber on meat arm, but requires a Neuralink. Allows you to use a smart face without interface plug. A smart gun without interface plug that probably has extra aims. Tech scanner installed in the cyber arm. Helps diagnose broken tech, +2 to multiple tech-based skills. Takes 2 option slots. Tool hand. Fingers contain screwdriver, wrench, small drill, and other tools. Can be installed as only piece of cyber on meat arm. And Wolvers, long claws that extend from the knuckles. Heavy melee weapon, can be concealed, can be installed as only piece of cyber and a meat arm. Rippers and scratchers. Okay, so the claws, medium melee. Okay, so it's more humanity loss. The claw, your claws, or yeah. So you got the leg. You can get you can get legs. This is arms, standard foot. Cybernetic foot can be installed in the meat leg. Replacement leg has 3 option slots. Comes with standard foot that doesn't cost you many loss or take up an option slot. Most cyber leg options must be paired, purchased twice and installed in 2 different cyber legs, or used on a user. HL must be paid for each. So, jump booster. Okay, so yeah. So if you lose 1 leg, you can just replace it. But if you got 2, if you want to have like cool movement abilities require both legs. Skate foot. Inline skates built into the foot can be concealed. Yeah, if you want healers, they need to come in a pair. Increase movement by 6 meters to yards when using run action. Talon foot. Blade mounted in the foot. Light melee weapon can be concealed. Can be installed as the only piece of cyber and a meat leg. Doesn't have to be paired. Web foot. Webbing between toes. Negates movement penalty when swimming, so swim feet. Requires 2 cyber legs and must be paired, but it's only 1 option slot, so that's useful. They have 3, so 2 option slots. You get the jump booster and the web feet if you had a pair, but you'd have to pay a d6 per each, so you would have, yeah, it's a d6 a pop, so that's 4d6, because 1 for each. but hardened shielding. Cyberlim installed options cannot be rendered inoperable by EMP pulsing. Ooh, so you can EMP proof your cyber leg, cyber arm or cyber leg. It works on both. So yeah, you can EMP proof it if you want. It's very expensive though. It has to go clinic level. Plastic covering. Um, oh, it's just so it just is fancy outerwear. Doesn't even cause you immunity loss. Real skin covering. So you're gonna have to pay extra if you want the skin to look like super chrome covering, shiny metallic coating, +2 to wardrobe and style. Does not take option slot, not take option. Yeah, so you can get if you want to pay premium, you can get it to look, make it look nice essentially. But you have to pay for it, and it's mall level, but you have to pay, but no humanity loss if you want to look fancy. All right, we're gonna have an ad break, so I'm gonna swap over for this one, and then stretch break, and I will be back in a minute. All right. Yeah. All right, we're back. Boop, I am back. Cool. So we got feet. So we got some fun ones we can do with the feet. All right. Artificial shoulder mount. Mount 2 cyber arms under the first set of arms. So if you get a hospital, you can have cyber arms and regular arms if you want. If you're willing to pay the hospital, but it's 46 humanity loss. Borgware, yeah, it's this stuff. If you implanted liner frame B beta, enhanced skeletal and support structures, increases body to 14, increases change HP wound threshold death saves, but it has to have a body of 8 already, and 2 grafted muscle and bone lace. Grafted muscle and bone lace, which is up here. Grafted muscle and hang on, let's see, grafted muscle and bone lace. Increased body to 2, cannot raise body above 10. So you have to do 2 of them, which is 4d6 humanity loss for each, and then you can do yeah, okay. Then once you do that, you can yes, and it is a little expensive, and you have to go to a hospital for it. Plated. Do you have to go for the bone lacing too? Grafted muscle, yes, hospital level. So you gotta do whole implanted liner frame Sigma. Enhanced skeleton support structure increases body to 12. The increase changes P word threshold requires body 6 and grafted muscle and bone lace. And oh yeah, so you only need to do 1, and you don't have to have body as high, and it's less expensive, but it increases your humanity loss just as much. So it's how much can you take? Multi-optic mount can mount up to 5 additional cyber eyes. Okay, wow. So you can just get extra eyes. I mean that I feel like that would you could see in more directions. You could put 2 in the back and 2 in the front. You can see in all directions at once. But dang, it's 46 humanity loss. Sensor array. User can install up to 5 additional cyber audio options. Requires cyber audio suite, but does not take up a cyber audio option slot. So basically, it's just bonus option slots for it's clinic level. It's just bonus option slots for your audio array. Essentially, it's storage space. It ups your storage space. MedTech cyberware. Okay, so this is Edge runners and street rats get some basic stuff. Yeah, so 9 humanity loss. Oh, Rocker Boys don't have. Let's see. Everyone gets -1 empathy for their cyberware installations except Rocker Boys. Interesting. But they get cyber audio, tech hair, chem skin. Yeah, audio recorders. They just have recording and enhanced hearing options. But Solo has the biomonitor, the Neuralink. Yeah, they don't have the Neuralink. Tech also doesn't. Netrunners do. Medtechs do. They have the Cyber Eye, nasal filters, or toxic binders. Pick and choose. And then teleoptics on the Cyber Eye. Okay. Amplified healing or voice stress analyzer. Okay, so the Cyber Audio Suite is to support the amplified hearing. Or voice stress analyzer. So you only get one. And a light tattoo. If you're fancy. So lawmen just have pockets. Extra pockets for stuff inside body. Biomonitor or tech hair, exec, cyber artist suite, internal agent, toxin buyers or nasal filters. Fixer, cyber audio suite, internal agent, subdermal pocket, voice stress analyzer, or amplified hearing. So you can either hear better, analyze people's voices better, or just hear better overall. That's the highest, 16 humanity loss. So if it's less than 10, you don't lose any empathy. Okay, interface plugs or Wolvers, and a Neuralink. So the Neuralink is a lot. Yeah, interface plugs. Or you get claws, essentially. I think Wolvers are claws of some class, right? I think they're in the hand section. Can be installed as meat arm. Long claws, yeah, claws. If you want to do calculated characters get the cyber the same way they got all their gear, buying each piece with their hard-earned Eurobucks. You got 2,550 Eurobucks to burn, but you probably spent a lot on tools of trade, big knives, bigger guns, maybe some tools. You may have to go back and drop some of the knives and guns to get your brand new metal arm. But there is another option. Ooh. Starting to look over the list of cyber and thinking, I don't have that kind of Eurobucks, and I need to swing this tech. At this point, you have to ask yourself, how desperate am I? Am I really hard up enough to risk death and dismemberment just to get a lousy cyber arm? Sure you are. The truly desperate turn to desperate measures. In this case, you can hire yourself out to someone who can afford to buy your cybernetics for you. At your DM's discretion, selecting any one of the following employers at character generation will swing you 1,500 Eurobucks cyberware in addition to the installation mandatory Neuralink cyberware free of charge. Assuming you can convince everyone else playing at your table to also take advantage of this attractive employment opportunity. So basically, if everyone buys in, you can, if everyone at the table is willing to buy in, you can get, and each get an extra 1,500 worth of upgrades. Join the covert military. The remnants of the Fourth Corp War are still brewing like rotting sepsis all over the backwaters of this world. Just because the truth is in place doesn't mean there aren't a lot of low-key national armies running around. President Elizabeth Kress ain't gonna let those Arasaka bastards wreck what's left of America. She's on a mother-humping crusade. So if you want to get the big bucks, join up to be a fighter in a covert proxy wars across the world, serving what's left of your country's armed forces with distinction and honor as part of a mechanized combat force. Cyber guns to you. See pain, torture, and death close up as you participate in any number of 100 Black Ops cleanup actions worldwide. Protecting national interests. Of course the cyberguns don't exist. Of course your country doesn't send teams of heavily armored covert agents to other countries to kill and ferment revolt. Of course they're not going to let you quit when you want to. Yeah. Black Ops. Organized crime. Word on the street is that the mob is alive and hiring. Swear allegiance to one of the big-time organized crime families and you'll never lack for cybertech. Then the catch is you must do work for them. Bill collecting, assassinations, murders, mob wars. The families of the time of the Red have a long and honorable tradition that goes back to the early 1900s. Nobody ever quits the mob. Ever. Sell out to a corp. Join a corporation and see the world. While you're at it, they'll bankroll you for lots of Eurobucks and new tech. But remember, as with all business deals, there's a price. In this case, you must work for the corporation. If you aren't an exec, you won't be doing the job of an exec, and if there's an exec at the table, you'll be working under them alongside their team. However, if you are an exec, you'll know this is difference between just working for the corporation and selling your soul to it. Forget about changing jobs. When you sell out, the job you get to do are all the fun suicidal ones on which they don't want to waste their good people. Executive kidnappings, black operations, and Espionage missions. If you're really lucky, you'll even get to be a grunt in the next corporate war. You know, the one that makes Vietnam and the Russian engagement in Afghanistan look like picnics, defending the corporation's interest in some backwater hellhole with a population of civilians you're suppressing. Restoring the corporate order is fun. The catch. Like most free offers, these employment opportunities are booby-trapped in creative and dangerous ways. Each requires that you work for an indeterminate amount of time, forever, for the people you may not like. You'll have to do what they tell you, no matter how cruddy, dangerous, or suicidal. Like most powerful people in Cyberpunk future, they don't like to be crossed, and a variety of art ways to ensure your cooperation. Hostages. Holding up someone you care about. A hostage. You mess up, they die. Blackmail. Somewhere in your past you did something you can't afford to let out. It could be as small as cheating on your taxes, with a 20-year jail term. Or a murder rap. It may be fictional, created by your new employers to make sure you toe the line. Are you going to take the chance that you can convince a judge you didn't actually do it? Sabotage cybernetics. To make sure you stay in line, the controlling agency has buried lethal glitches in your cybernetic software. Things to make your heart stop on command. Programs that give you blinding headaches if you refuse to follow orders. Monitored. Your employee have implanted sensors or other monitoring devices on you, just to ensure your loyalty. You can't say or do anything without them knowing. You can't go anywhere without them finding you. The worst part is you don't know where in your body they've hidden these devices. Command kill. A really vicious sabotage chip. On the command word, you'll kill whoever you're directed to kill, without control, regret, or mercy. Your mother, your lover, your cat, anyone. Company safeguard. Another nasty sabotage chip. You can't willingly harm any member of the controlling agency. To do so causes you excruciating pain. To continue causes even more pain, accumulating a full-on heart stoppage and screaming death. Remote detonator. One of the favorite corporate tricks. This is a small package of inert explosives buried somewhere in your body, activated by a remote audio signal. You don't know where they put it, the scanners can't find it, and if you did go around looking, you'd likely to set it off. Want to bet your life, Jumba? Remember, if you join one of these groups, any one or more of these little goodies applies directly to making you a puppet of your employers. What you are forced to do and what they hold over you is up to your GM. They don't even have to tell you if you've been tampered with. You don't have a choice. You just sold your soul. Yep. I could, I suppose, for a one-shot, have everyone linked into a dubious corporation. That might be an interesting way to do it. You've just sold your soul to corpos because of various reasons. So now have them all play as like solos or fixers. Leave out the lawman and give them all. Some people are willing to do anything to get ahead. Me, I'm not willing to go that far. Not anymore. Every solo needs to have a break point, a line they're not willing to budge over no matter what. You have to weigh the jobs and the people offering them to you. Sometimes the big score isn't worth the price of cashing it when the job's done. Sometimes you need to choose between getting rich or being able to sleep at night. Alright, and then you got your character sheets. Find 3 pages for your recording character range or online variety of sources. Here's some data how to fill it out. Big lock on the top for drawing or fixing a picture of your character. Beneath it, you'll find a box for recording your character's handle, street name, role, ability, and any notes you want to keep. Write your stats here. Stats can have 2 different values. Maximum current divided into by a bar. Your derived statistics are recorded here, which includes humanity, hit points, and your seriously wounded threshold, death save value. You can also record any critical injuries or addictions that your character suffers during play. Okay, skills go here. They're organized by category, and note the stat they're linked to. You can record your skill level, your stat number, and your skill base, which is stat plus skill combined. Spaces for your weapons and armor. For armor, you record SP and penalty. For weapons, you can record damage, magazine size, rate of fire, and any notes like alternate fire modes. Earn improvement points and raise skill levels. And roll ability ranks during play. This area has a spot for recording, reputation information. Record the results of your general life path here. The results of your role-specific life path there. So all of the useful things like what happened to your family and how many friends do you have and how many enemies do you have and what languages do you speak, stuff like that. This is where you keep track of your outfit. At the bottom of the first section is space for recording ammunition and cash. Beneath that, you'll find spots for recording whatever fashions you own and your current housing and lifestyle. Entire page for cyberware. It's all divided by category, and you can record name and what it does. There's additional instructions on that page. Okay. Alright, let's see. This one is... Ooh, short story. Gatos senoritas. Cats and ladies. The Aldecaldo, Santiago, sends his regards, but he has much to do now that the war is over. many contracts for construction, many wounded and dead to look after, including family. But he has sent we Lobos to help in any way we can. Beautiful. Okay, this is cool lore stuff, and I like cool lore stuff, but we're gonna pop this down for a minute. I like cool lore stuff as much as the next guy, but I am going to have to skip it for now. We want the practicalities first. So let me go back to the. Let's see. Also, just look at how cool that is. And then who drew it? Cover art. Anselm Thailonka did a good job with this. Just saying. Okay. Let's see. We're beyond Neocorpse, corporate profiles, Night City history, 2020, Happy at Last, Time of the Red, everyday life, in touch, what you're packing, how to get around. That's the basics of how you play and stuff. Okay. Night markets, appendix. Okay. Let's go with 387. Alright, so firefights, armors, vehicles, reputation, combat time, actions, combats, net running. Okay. So, I think it's 125 is where you start with, Cyberware. Fall of the Tower. Okay, it's right after the Fall of the Tower. So there's a short story, and then there is the, spend enough time on the street and you learn to talk is cheap. When your AV's busted up and you're about to fall out of the sky, or when you need to find a fence before the corp cop breaks down your door, a big mouth ain't gonna help you. Edge runners let their actions speak for them. Put up or shut up. There are a few basic rules to this mental landscape. First, if your character can see something in the naked eye or the scope of your weapon, you can interact with it. If there's anything in the way, it's considered to be blocked and you can't interact with it. If it's positioned forward of your shoulders, you can face it and possibly interact with it. Last, if it's within your reach, 2 meters or yards, you can also touch it. Otherwise, you'll need to use a longer tool, weapon, or some other method to extend your reach. And this brings up to the subject of measurements. In Cyberpunk Red, we measure everything in both meters or yards and treat them interchangeably. The difference is only about 2 inches. One reason we do this is it means we don't have to change measurements around metric and English systems. It also corresponds pretty well with a generic 6-foot character. If you're using a grid of miniatures, each 1 inch square is about 2 meters, or 2 yards. Okay. So, that's about double scale of what, if you're using a grid, each square is 2 yards, or 2 meters. I mean, you can scale it up, and it's the same theory. Each square is 2 meters. I've done that scale for Warhammer 40k before. Usually they say you're using a 1 meter per square face, but I've said, okay, this is half scale, so it's each one represents 2, just because I need to fit twice as much stuff on the map. And then I realized you could actually double the size of your maps, and then I stopped doing that as much. But alright, as a rule, there are 3 scales of movement in Cyberpunk Red. Narrative movement. First scale is narrative movement. This means the movement that is described in real-world terms is part of a narrative story. For example, cars move at miles or kilometers per hour. Walking is measured in similar but smaller distances. For most game purposes, we classify this type of movement by categories. Below, you can find movement categories for the average human. In vehicle combat section, you can find narrative speeds for the various vehicles. So, walking, you're going about 2.5 miles per hour, or 4 kilometers per hour. Running is 5 miles per hour, 11 kilometers per hour. Alright. Figurative movement. The second scale is figurative movement, comparing one move stat to another move stat to see who is faster overall. This is the best for simple, sustained speed contests like Outcome of a Foot Race. This is where you compare the Languini to the Volkswagen. One has a higher move stat than the other, and this is used as a basis of comparison. Finally, there's literal movement, a measurement of actual distances used in combat and when using miniatures. Every turn, a character gets a move action, which can only be used to move a number of yards or meters equal to their move times 2, or a number of squares equal to their move, which can include moving diagonally. Move actions, along with other actions a character can do in a turn, are explained page 127. Next page. Okay. Time and initiative. Cyberpunk Red uses 2 ways to measure time. First, time role-playing time works just like it does in real life. Second, combat time is for more exacting. Combat time is divided into turns, each which takes approximately 3 seconds. The amount of time... Okay, so 3 seconds per turn, not 6 seconds. Interesting. The amount of time it takes to actually... each entity involved in combat to take a turn is a round. Because actions happen roughly simultaneously in game, 1 round is also approximately 3 seconds long. Okay. And, initiative. But who gets to go first? For that, we need to determine initiative. Basically, a character place in line relative to everyone else doing something in the turn. The line is what we call initiative queue, a mental lineup of who goes when. Everyone rolls initiative. Your initiative value is a reflex plus a d10. Okay. All participation in combat participants in the combat place themselves according to their initiative results in the initiative queue in descending order from the highest score to the lowest. Resolve ties by rolling again. Combat proceeds in the initiative queue order with each entity. I would say so. There you could resolve ties by re-rolling. You can also certain systems just have a basis rule of, whoever has the highest reflex or dex or whatever goes first. Re-roll for solving is interesting too, but no. Combat proceeds in initiative queue order. You might do a house rule just to say it that way and make it easier, depending on how you want to do it. But with each entity in the initiative queue getting a turn, when the bottom is reached, the initiative queue is repeated from the top in the same order. Every turn, a character gets one move action and one action. In this section, we describe the most common actions in brief. In the Friday Firefight section, we'll give you a more in-depth full list of actions. Many of these actions will only happen during or directly after a combat. Okay, so move and an action. So you get move. Presumably you can move twice. Attack, melee or range attack. Get into a vehicle. Get up. Stand after being prone. Ooh, you have to... Well, I guess it's one action and a move action, so you can get up and go somewhere, but you can't. So it doesn't take half your movement, but... Alright. Grab. Grab and hold an opponent to take away an object they are holding. So that's like a grapple check. Hold action. Hold your action until later in the round. Run. Take additional move action. Alright. Fair enough. So your action is a second move action. Stabilize. Stabilize a target to begin the natural healing process. Start a vehicle. So you take one turn to get in and one turn to start it. Throw. Throw a grabbed opponent or the ground to the ground or throw an object. Use net actions. Perform multiple actions inside the net. Use an object. Manipulate an object in a way that doesn't require skill. Alright. Flip switches. Grab things from the ground. Stuff like that. Use one of your skills to accomplish a quick task. Alright, so every turn character gets a move action, which can be used to move a number of yards or meters to move times 2, or a number of spaces equal to move, which can include move diagonally. So if you want to make an attack with a ranged combat or melee combat, yep, for information on how to make attacks. Get into vehicles, getting up. While prone, you cannot use a move action until you first use this action. And that tracks. So you can't crawl, essentially. Grab and hold someone, take an object they're carrying, or escape a grapple. So information on how to grapple people. So I guess there's probably opposed checks involved, but if you want to... hold an action. In combat, a character can use his action to hold off on specific action until a designated number in the initiative queue comes up, or a specific event occurs. When that time comes, they can choose to either go through with their chosen action or forgo entirely. You can't hold action across multiple rounds. You can't change your mind about when the action triggers either. Move actions and net actions cannot be held at all. So you would have to hold a run action, which basically means you'd lose half your movement if you wanted to hold off moving. Run. Use an action to take an additional move action. If you can't use a move action right now, you can't use this action. But if you could use a move action, then... Right. Could use a move action, but choose not to. Just forgo the move action or take like half a step, and then hold off on a run. I'm sure you could do that. Or I'd allow it as a GM. Stabilize. Stabilize target being a natural healing process or pull them out of mortally wounded wound state to save their life. For more on stabilization, like a quick clamp down on CPR or something like that. Starting vehicle. Use an action to start a vehicle that you are already in. This requires physical biometric key for the vehicle. Check out the vehicle combat system information on car chases. Alright, if you have the key, you can start it. If you don't, you can't. If you probably have a hotwire skill, that would be... Use that skill instead, I would guess. Throw a person you are grappling an object you are holding. Check out the combat system information on how to throw items and people. Items is pretty straightforward. People's probably like a post check of some class. Net actions. Net actions such as running programs. Only a net runner can make use of net actions, which they can take instead of another action on their turn. And they have a net running section on... Okay, use a skill. An action, use one of your skills to attempt to complete a quick task. You get 3 seconds. If the GM determines your proposed task would take more than 3 seconds, you still want to do it, you can spend your action every turn to attempt to accomplish it at a rate of 3 seconds per turn, making your check only when you're finished with the duration of the task. Task resolutions are covered in resolving actions and with skills later on this page. So essentially, the DM says, all right, you're taking 4 turns to do this, and then you just have to wait 4 turns, sit out 4 turns, and then make the check at the end. Use an object. Using this action is a catch-all for using, manipulating, picking up an object in ways that wouldn't require using a skill and aren't covered by other actions, but would still require a quick 3 seconds of effort. Use this thing for things like opening a door, switching your shotgun out for an assault rifle slung on your back, picking up an unattended weapon off the floor, pressing the button on a detonator, biting into a slice of pizza. If the GM determines your proposed task would take more than 3 seconds, you can spend action every turn. Right, so you just have to delta 3 turns or whatever, how many turns. Drawing an easily acceptable weapon isn't an action if you have a free hand. Interesting. Role-playing actions with skills. Skill is something your character knows how to do thanks to their training. The level of your skill represents how trained your character is in that activity. Each skill is linked to a stat that represents the natural ability. That's when you add stat and skill together on a skill check to create your skill base. Skill base is, I guess, whenever your character tries to do something. This is the meat and bones. This is what I was looking for. There's also the question of whether they'll succeed or fail. Sometimes the task is so easy that it's obvious. For instance, taking a step forward without falling. In that case, tell the GM that you're doing, and no die roll is needed. But if you're trying to take a step on the deck of a ship, pitching wildly and driving a rainstorm, walking might be very difficult indeed. These are the situations that call for a skill check. The first is to resolve your skill against another living thing or person skill, like trying to persuade someone to do something for you. To do this, you, the attacker, add your relevant stat plus skill plus a d10 die roll against your opponent. The defender's own relevant stat plus skill plus d10 roll. The result of your opponent's stat plus skill plus d10 roll is also known as the difficulty value, or DV. The amount of your stat plus skill plus d10 will need to be beaten in order for you to succeed. In case of a tie, defender always wins. Alright. So it would be some sort of like deception versus perception kind of thing. Deception versus insight deal. Difficulty simple. The second way is resolving skills against the difficulty of the situation, like picking up a lock or driving a car. The GM determines how long the task we want to perform will take and uses the table below to decide what rating best describes the difficulty to perform the task. Difficulty value. Then you add your stat plus a d10 and try to beat the difficulty. Stat plus skill plus d10. Try to beat the difficulty, and the GM assign tasks you want to perform. Simple is something most people can do without thinking, but which might be hard for a small child. It's a DV of 9. This feat is something most people can do without a lot of special training. Difficulty. This feat is difficult to accomplish without training or natural talent. Professional. This feat actually training and uses to be considered professional. Skilled in their abilities. It's a DV of 17. Okay. So if you have stats are 1 through 8. So if you have 7 in the stat, you're not gonna succeed except if you get a 10 without at least some ranks in the skill. Heroic. This is a highly skilled feat, one that only the best can pull off. This level is sports star and other highly regarded superstars. Incredible. This is a tremendous feat. Pulling this off would rate you among the best of your class professionally. You are truly of Olympian metal. Legendary. This awe-inspiring feat. This is something that people write their stories about. A truly accomplishment that will be spoken of in hushed tones for years to come. That's a DV 29. Alright, yeah, you have to have see if it's a D10, that's 19. So you have to 19 between your stat and your skill, and so you have to have at least an 11 in any given skill to pull that off. During a fast break in a pickup basketball game, Gina finds herself as last line of defense to her team guarding against the young upstart. The upstart jumps up for a fadeaway, and Gina leaps up to block a shot. This is an imposed skill check. Gina and the young upstart both roll dex plus athletics plus a d10, and both come up with 14. So who wins? Gina does because she is the defender, so she will slap the ball down with panache. Later in the basketball game, Gina breaks the backboard during a particularly impressive dunk. She stays after the game to repair the damage. Since the broken backboard isn't an adversary, it isn't handled as an opposed skill check. Instead, she makes the check against difficulty value. GM determines that repairing the basketball is an everyday feat. And so it's assigned to DV13, rolls tech and basic tech, plus D10, gets 14 as a result, beating DV and repairing the backboard. Cool. Critical success. When you roll a natural 10 on the D10, you've scored a critical success. Roll another D10 and add your result to the first roll. If you roll another D10, you cannot score another critical success. So the most you'll ever get is 20. Alright. So you have to get... Alright. Critical failure. When you roll a nat 1 on your D10, you've scored a critical failure. Roll another D10 and subtract the results from your stat plus skill plus first roll. If you roll another 1, you do not score another critical failure. However, yeah. Oh yeah, I've done. Yeah, you roll a d10 and you get a 1, and then you roll the second one and you get a 10, and you're just like, well, um, you just have 10 off your skill, and you're just like, yeah, that's not happening. That's about the worst roll you can get. I've had that happen. Last time I played, that happened to me. I'm just like, okay, yep, sucks to suck. Sometimes conditions beyond your control may make it harder to perform a task. For example, a simple task, DV9, is a whole lot order of magnitude tougher during an earthquake. These external conditions are called modifiers. When the GM decides a modifier applies to a skill check, you'll subtract the modifier value from your roll. I mean, you could just also add the modifier to the DV. Like, the DV, well, it's only a 9 DV, but things are falling apart, so I'm going to up it to a 12 or something. Anyway. Yeah, I would say just add that to DV, but okay. Here are some typical examples of conditions that might cause your GM to call for modifiers. They are cumulative. Low light conditions is a -1. I've never done this before, is another -1. Complex task is -2. Don't have the right tools is -2. Slept uncomfortable the night before, sleep deprived. Extreme stress is -2. Exhausted, -4. Extremely drunk or sedated. Trying to perform the task secretly. Task obscured by smoke or darkness. Yes, see, I would have added these onto the DV rather than just take them off the roll, but math works out the same. Alright, it's almost 3. Let's see. Try again. If you fail a skill check, you can't try again unless your chances of success have improved for some reason. You took longer, used a better tool, or you or one of your friends made a complementary skill check. Let's see. Complementary skills. Complementary skill checks are when use of one of skill directly affects the use of a subsequent skill. At the GM's discretion, a good roll in one skill, which can even be rolled by another character, may confer a +1 bonus to the subsequent use of a related skill, so long as the complementary nature of the two skills makes sense. A sudden +1 bonus only affects subsequent attempts once, and the complementary skill bonuses do not stack. Taking extra time. Taking extra time can also give you a bonus to your skill check when the DM tells you how long a task will take to complete, and you get a single +1 bonus to your skill check for taking 4 times longer. So I guess if you'd failed the backboard check, the DM might say, okay, well, it was going to take 20 minutes. If you're willing to spend, 45 minutes on it, you can roll again, and if you're willing to stay for a whole hour, and, because that'd be 20 plus 40, or 10 plus 40, yeah, close enough. Yeah, but if you're willing to stay all that extra time, you can roll again at a +1, if you're willing to stay and work on it. When you don't have a skill. When you don't have a skill to use, but you want to try anyway, you have one option. Simply use the stat to that skill. If you don't have as linked to, and add just a d10. That's all you get. You're relying purely on your stat. I think that's probably GM discretion if that's allowed, like trained versus untrained kind of vibe. But yeah. Using your luck. Before you roll, you can add determined portion of your remaining luck pool, which holds luck points equal to your luck statistic, which refills at the beginning of each game session to a check, which increases the roll by +1 for each point of your luck pool that you expanded. Luck is a powerful force that allow you to do otherwise impossible become attainable. Simple. Remember, do pretty much anything in a Cyberpunk Red. Simply get a stat, a skill, and d10 to roll against a DV. If your check is over that amount, you did it. Everything else is just window dressing. Okay. To give you a concept of what these skills do at different levels, each description includes breakdown. Okay. And then they have actual breakdown of skills, all the skills, which we had, up at the front character creation part. This has cutting red tape, knowing how to talk to bureaucracy. Okay. At base 10, which base is skill, stat plus skill, which is int, so it's int plus whatever you've added. You've been around the block a few times and know how to deal with bureaucrats to avoid getting trapped in red tape. At base 14, you've worked with bureaucracy long enough to really start unraveling the organization's secrets. You know how to expedite orders, make sure your papers and come up on the right desk, and even block other people's requests with corps or government officials. At age 18, you're a masterful work in the system. You know how to get just about anything you need done, tie up opposition and red tape for ages, and even manipulate bureaucracy to create false claims and paperwork. Accounting. Oh, and also it has like an example of how good you are with each. Okay, animal handling. Okay. So many skills. There's no defined crew in Cyberpunk Red. Your group could be a bunch of edgerunners taking whatever jobs they come their way. Sure, but you could also be a squad of corporate troubleshooters, a private investigation firm, a team of investigative reporters, a nomad smuggling pack, or a trauma team crew. There's a wide world out there for you to explore, and we've done your best to provide you with a full list of skills so you aren't pigeonholed in one specific kind of campaign. Some of the skills on the list might not come up often in your particular campaign, and you're free to ignore them. And those will pop their heads up no matter what type of cyberpunk story you're telling. Those are the basic skills, and there's a reason you have to bought up to at least two. They have to be brought up to at least two. Players, if you're unsure if you need rip leading or C vehicle tech, talk to your GM and find out if they think those skills will come up in the game. And GMs, it can be great practice to look over the character sheet of your players once in a while and think about ways you can work their chosen skills into the game to help them solve problems. Okay. Vibe. Okay, library search, education, all that, science, fighting skills, brawling, evasions, playing instruments. Yeah, at base 10 you can play professionally. You can get paid. Yeah. Ranged weapon skills, social skills. Okay. Streetwise, all of the skills. Pair. Amount of time takes to repair damage destroyed vehicle. A tech skill to perfect conditions is based on amount of damage it is sustained. Minor damage is DV9, 3 hours. Major damage, DV13, 1 day. Destroyed, DV17, and a week. On a failed roll halfway through the repair, you realize that you'll have to start the repair from scratch. Sucks to suck. So basically, yeah. Alright. Item repair is based on the price category. Okay. If it's cheap, if it's super luxury, it takes a month, and okay. If it's super luxury, you have to pay up for special parts. You're paying anything. If you break something super luxury, it's going to take a month. Per 1 month per 10,000 Eurobucks of the item's price. So if it's worth 20,000 Eurobucks, you're spending 2 months shrinking it. On a failed roll halfway through the repair, you realize that you'll have to start the repair from scratch. Sucks to suck, I guess. Okay, hang on. Okay. Roll abilities. In 2020s, the roles were basically a job of your characters had. Roles defined what they did, but not who they were. But in Time of the Red, the lack of structure and steady jobs means that role is more than of a self-defining label. You don't do solo stuff. You are a solo. It's what defines you no matter what you do. No one in the Time of the Red pays you to punch clock as a solo. Instead, you look for gigs that are the kind of gigs a solo would do. Alright? In short, at the Time of the Red, you are your own boss, and your role is your personal job description. But since you're new to the street, you're not starting at the top. Nope, you're starting at near the bottom. Starting characters automatically begin with their role ability at 4, rank 4, unless the GM of a particular game decides to allow you to start at higher rank. On the street, rank 4 means you aren't a total weeful. You know where the dangerous end of gun is, and you can play at least chipping in on your axe. But you're starting to make bones in a dangerous world, and people just now willing to take a chance on your abilities. So don't mess it up, yo. Alright. So they have what each, of the things can do. Multi-classing role. Can't start off taking 2 roles at once. Much in the same way that people in the real world have to throw themselves into a career just to make it work, your role is just that, a full-time career. It's going to take everything you have just to make it to in one area of the street, so don't get cocky punk. That being said, there's nothing stopping you from starting one role career and then swapping to another one. In real life, people do that all the time. In the Time of the Red, you can change roles anytime you've completed at least 4 ranks of your previous role by buying 1 rank of a new role with the improvement points. You start the new role at rank 1, just mastering intricacies of the new career. When you switch, you'll be locked from multiclass again until your latest role is at least rank 4. Meanwhile, you can continue increasing the rank of your previous role, and you retain all the features you granted by it, but the street you will now seen as the new role as you concentrate on mastering the ropes. Jay's been playing long-running Cyberpunk Red campaign and has ranked quite a few improvement points. A few sessions back as solo, JP Guyver was adopted by the Gargoyles Nomad pack of the Blood Nation. To reflect this, he decides to multiclass solo to Nomad. JP's solo role ability, Combat Awareness, is rank 4, which means the jump to Nomad is perfectly legal. Jay spends the improvement points needed to purchase... Here, I'm going to snooze it once, because we're not going to go long at 5 minutes more, because I got to get to day job, but I wanted to check through here. Okay. Nomad role ability Moto at rank 1. He picks up a ground bike for his first vehicle. From this point on, Joe can spend improvement points to increase either of JP role abilities, Combat, Awareness, or Moto. If, down the road, he wants to adopt a third role, maybe JP Guyver starts arranging jobs to the Fixer, he'll need to buy his Nomad role ability, Moto, or 2 rank 4 first. let's see. So then you got, if you get one ability, and then improvement points. Okay. Oh, charismatic, small local clubs and well-known clubs. Okay, so charismatic impact, you get combat awareness. The solo mode ability is combat, and damage deflection, precision attack, spot weakness, threat detection. Has a combat rec 6 when session she's loaded as follows. So you can use how many points based on your roll ability. All right. Um, yep. 2 points. Damage deflection. Fumble recovery, initiatives. So yeah, so you can bop up your initiative. So the first one, you're not going to be able to do damage deflection until you get to rank 2, but you, yeah. So you get spot weakness and initiative reaction. You can use either one. Threat detection, and so you can use any of those ones. Net roll, net actions per turn. Okay. Interface abilities, net runner to break through passwords, cloak, hide their actions, control things to dash architecture, data and its value, ID, know what a found piece of data is, allows runner to learn the map of architecture, to find out the location of systems in the area, slide. Okay. So basically, you can do, if you're net running, you jack into the net during combat, and you can do a couple of these every time you go through, and while the rest of you are fighting off security gains or whatever. And they have a whole section on what to do with those. One rank, 2 different maker specialties, upgrade expertise, fabrication expertise. Okay. So they got some interesting things. Alright, invention and surgery. Okay. Oh, medtech, I see. They also choose one of the following 3 medical specialties: medtech pharmaceuticals or medical tech cyber system operation, to allocate 1.2. Surgery, pharmaceuticals, or cyber system operations. Interesting. Okay. And then you get cyber systems operation, what you can do, and these are some of the things you can inject and make. Credibility, vague rumor, yes. Media, a deplugged information network. Assuming you aren't entirely off grid, at least twice a week will secretly roll your credibility, plus a d10. Rumors, the GM will clue the media in on the highest DV rumor the check beat. Ooh, so you get fed rumors by the DM. Might find hitting the streets during gameplay using relevant information gathering skills like library search, conversation, interrogation. When a media is actively looking for a rumor like this, they roll appropriate stat, relevant skill. Active. Oh, so passive DC is you might find concrete information, details, memory information, start hunting down proposed truth. Okay. So the active, so credibility rank plus a d10, but if you're actively searching, it's skill plus a d10. Okay. So credibility rank is just, just the basic of how many levels you have. Or okay. Credibility is a powerful tool. Corporate guards can be easily endlessly replaced, but at higher ranks, credibility media can make a corporation feel hurt by going to the wall to get the truth. They may be relatable when you document in your next telebook. They'll feel even more pain. Armed with credibility, if they can't discredit you and can't silence you, and you won't cut a deal, maybe you won't go away, and you won't go away, you can make real change. As a media, it's within your power to give even a bad story a good ending. Interesting. Then you got stories believable, how to okay. Yes, small incremental. Okay. So how to do that and what you can do with it. Signing bonus, teamwork rank 1, a suit of business wear. Ew. Corporate con apps. Yes. Stay there without rent or any other fees. Alright. Oh, yeah. You get nice stuff from the corporate. Corporate health insurance. Ooh. Gotta love that. Team members. So yeah, you get NPC access to team members. Loyalty. And loyalty. Okay, creating team members. So that's how you stat out those guys. Okay. And then... Alright. Okay. I'm gonna... Okay. I'm gonna do one more snooze. Alright, so I want to say thank you all for coming. I appreciate you being here. I have to leave for a day job. It's getting dark, and I need to get out of here, or the clouds are coming, I should say. It's not getting dark. It's not like nighttime dark. It's thunderstorm dark. I really don't want this. They need sun. My plants need sun. But I appreciate you hanging out with me and checking through the role abilities. What else we got? Netrunner, technicians, okay. And then backup and lawman role ability. You can call for backup. Yeah. Fixer, operator. You get contacts and reach. So you can. These are the people you can talk to. Oh, the pay per person for a job up 20%. Night market. You can set up a night market at ranks 5 and 6. Yes. You can always find a place to source cheap and everyday items for your clients on a piece-by-piece basis, even if they are otherwise unavailable. 10%, so you can always... Yeah, you always know where to get things. Alright. And then Moto is either family moto pool. Okay. All vehicles. Okay. Seating upgrades, security upgrades. You can put land in sea, land... Okay. Yes. Housing capacity. You can do some fun stuff with that. Okay. This is a... Oh, yeah, that's an ad. In the face. Smash. Damn. Okay. Friday Night Firefight. So this is combat. Alright, so, Alright, so thank you for being patient with me as we go through Cyberpunk. I know it wasn't very interesting, and none of you came, so that's okay. I don't mind that if there's no audience. Like, I get people have their lives and stuff. I said I was gonna stream, and I did, and if no one came, that's alright. If you're watching later on reruns, because I am gonna archive this to YouTube, so if you're watching on the rerun, hi. Cheers to that. Yep, okay. So we got 3 minutes until that. I snoozed it twice, so we're gonna have to head out. It's 3:16. I have to day job, so we're gonna raid somebody. Let's see. I'm actually following. Baraboo. Who we got? Sable. All right, I'm gonna pop in Sable. I think. Who else? Yeah, we're gonna go see Sable. Good basic. Yeah, let's go see Sable. Say hi. I am. Yeah, Sable's starting. We're gonna go see Sable. All right, let's go. Love you guys. Take care of yourselves. You know, all that jazz. I will see you next week. No, Saturday. Saturday's game is the. I'll put more info on the Discord, but Saturday's the game. So you know, there's that. I forgot about that. I'm gonna have to prep for that, aren't I? Okay. All right, let's go. Whoever you are, you're coming with.